Greetings, the long-awaited return of you-know-who. Here we are today, Wiltshire Police Headquarters in Devizes, and we'll have a little check out and see what HQ are up to. And there we go. Awful lot of signage, and most of it is prohibitive. Sorry. All visitors. Let's chuck a right and see what's what. Interestingly enough, I have recorded several venues within Wiltshire. What I haven't done as yet is HQ, hence today. Also following up on some activity here by other auditors, which was hardly impressive from HQ, and also Swindon, so maybe we shall have a visit there at some point. Let's have a look, shall we? Confirmation of where we are. And very quiet. Maybe it's a Saturday afternoon. The donuts are selling well at the cricket, I don't know. Time will tell. Doesn't seem to be much activity in these particular buildings, and certainly for data protection and GDPR they're compliant. It's a relatively good start. Maybe they're learning. I don't know. No unauthorised access. CCTV in operation. Contradiction in terms coming up, I see. Alright, let's have a look. Vehicle barriers. No unauthorised access. Be interesting if we can have a conversation with an officer to define what constitutes authorised and how one would go about it. This is publicly accessible, the barriers for the road and not for the pavement. Let's have a look at these premises. This is all new to me, apart from what I have seen with the good work of the other auditors. This is new. In fact, I'm not sure if I've ever gone past this place, but here we are. This is presumably reception, crime and communication centre. Let's just have a little data protection check just to see if they've got anything on display that shouldn't be. Oh, they do have an occupational health unit. I'm sure I'm missing a joke there. Nothing untoward, it would appear, in terms of data breaches. Let's go and ask the question about what would constitute authorised. Automatic door, which has now been locked. It would appear that the person in the wheelchair has preempted my presence. Automatic door, shut out. Talk about the disconnect. Let's have a look. Please lift the receiver. Blah blahs. It's all blah blah. Okay, well, I can't go to them, maybe they'll come to me. There's a little motor bike. Let's come back a little bit. Perfect weather for it as well. Let's see if there's anything on display that shouldn't be. Wouldn't appear so. Rather extensive ground here as well, which is always of public interest. I believe there's a horse unit here as well, although I can't see or thankfully smell that at the moment. Let's see what's going on in the back. Probably what to do about nothing. Probably the smoking area. Let's have a look. Implied right of access, no barrier. So I put that on the record before it might be used against me. That's indicative of today's generation. Don't stand on the benches. Don't swim in wet cement. Don't go scuba diving in quicksand. Leave your mate's missus alone. Why don't you just take the labels off everything and let natural selection take its course? Anything. No, it's very quiet. I think my presence has been detected and they've shut up shop. There's an electric vehicle charging point. Another sign of the times. There's an operational training facility and a gym. Some marked units. Dead calm today, not a thing. There we go. Police community volunteer. That'll be the dude telling tales in school. See if I can make that out. There we have it, operational training facility and gym. I wonder if they ever mentioned the 1972 Criminal Justice Act, in particular section 33. Having said that, they may well now be aware of it. Okay. What I can see is an operational control centre that's on the upper floor with members of staff at work. I suppose we'd better stress test the notion of protecting information now. David Bailey won't be eating his heart out with this. That's all right. I don't think there's anything significant there. Nothing I could quantify or assert. So not too bad, I suppose. Playing the game. They put the automatic lock back on. Yes, they have. Of course they have. I wonder if this place has a phone number. Building house. I may just give it a moment and try and catch somebody coming out. I missed an opportunity then. I should have asked them why the public entrance is inaccessible. This is definitely a case of come back in the week. Let's have a meander over here. I don't know what this building is. Interesting that the lady officer did not make any verbal communication. I guess that's a win for our side in many ways, because I am being left alone, unhindered, to do what I'm lawfully entitled to do. Doesn't make for exciting viewing, I know, but ultimately that's the purpose. See if this automatic door's locked. Shocker. And what have we got here? The usual bump employee assistance program. Oh, wonderful. All that stress that they get on the job. Needle stick injuries. Well, useful stuff. We've got to give them that one. Don't want somebody else's blood dancing around your DNA, do we? And no, it's a whole heap of nothing. Okay, so I do CCTV in operation. Let's see if we can get some lots of... Ah, there he is. Let's smile for the camera. Okay, watching you, watching me. Some of you will be old enough to get that reference. Ladies, gentlemen, I think this is going to be, from an auditing point of view, a partial pass. We do have one officer there. Let's see if I can intercept before she gets there. Excuse me. I'm curious on two things, if possible. Is this the reception area?
Who are you filming on behalf of?
Do we always answer questions with questions? I'm just asking, is this the reception area?
That's right. No, there's no reception here at the moment of the weekend, sir.
Okay, so it's strictly, what, Monday?
So we have an inquiry office.
No, what about Monday? What happens Monday?
There'll be an inquiry officer in on Monday, but they won't be
at
here.
This venue?
This isn't a venue.
Where would they be?
Who?
The inquiry officer.
At the front.
Ah, so this is not the actual reception area?
No, okay. This is a different part of the building.
Okay.
You're actually on privately run grounds, so it's a police station.
Ah, I see.
If you'd like to come to the public area...
Would that be privately run on the basis that it's publicly funded?
Yeah, but that's not relevant to the fact that it's public infrastructure.
It's highly relevant. Hold on. It's highly relevant.
You're trespassing on the police station.
Okay. Is trespass a civil or a legal matter? Is trespass a civil or a legal matter?
Do you have a request of the police?
Yes, answer the question. Is trespass a civil or police matter?
Do you have a request?
I'll answer the question for the benefit of my viewers.
I think
it's
what
a civil
you're here
matter.
to do is to ask silly questions.
It's a civil matter. It only becomes a police matter when it's aggravated trespass.
If you could
you do me one favour just to carry on with this consensual conversation?
There are people working.
Could you do me a favour, please? Consensual conversation. Could you provide me with three forms of address?
Provide you with three forms of address?
Identity, my apologies.
I think you are asking some irrelevant questions.
And I'll do it myself.
And
oh, look at your rank. Oh, dear me, you know better than that, sir.
I think you're asking questions which aren't relevant.
Here we are, on duty, covering identification.
I'm not going to do, because you don't...
Could you, for the benefit of the audience, say what those two diamonds represent in your rank?
What they represent is that I'm asking you, do you have a reason to be on
Right now I do.
Premises?
Right now I do. It's to identify you.
As we haven't met, I'm wondering why you're being so hostile.
Then introduce yourself.
Come to the public area.
If we played police bingo today, we've got hostile, private ground when it's public. A lot of people ticking boxes at the moment. It is cliche corner, isn't it? Stick within the bounds of the law. Identify yourself. You're in uniform. That's a second formal offer. You have the opportunity to redress your error.
Have a silly conversation
for the third and final time before it goes on record.
Of an office building.
On the record for the third and final time, will you identify yourself while you're in the course of your duty?
What I'm not going to do.
Yes or no?
Is I'm not going to give you permission to
put you're not identifying yourself. This is no longer a consensual conversation.
Onto the internet.
I will take it up with your superiors.
You don't have permission to put that video on the internet. You don't have my personal permission.
Tell me the law that precludes me from doing it.
You're not in a public place.
Tell me the law that precludes me from doing it.
I'm telling you that I'm not giving you personal permission to put any video onto the internet.
Don't need it.
But just so that you know.
Did you watch the Twin Towers come down?
That is relevant.
Did you watch the Twin Towers come down?
Goodness me.
Did you?
You're one of these. Okay.
Oh, one of these. Bingo time, boys. Here we go.
You're going to tell me that the police knocked the Twin Towers down or something like that?
No, don't be silly. That's your ridiculous.
Come out to the public place and we can keep talking.
Here we go.
At the moment, there's people who are...
Did your constabulary put these council painted lines down?
They have no relevance to public roads.
They're public. It's publicly funded.
No,
1972 Criminal Justice Act, Section 33, implied rights of access.
There are signs at the front
which I've read and I've recorded and narrated to, and I haven't been anywhere.
Like you're an angry man.
Anywhere that I shouldn't be.
Who doesn't like public services.
Do you think personal insinuation is the way for a senior officer to behave?
This is an observation. You seem to be very angry.
Angry?
You're here on a police station. You clearly don't like the police.
Would you be delighted if your rights were violated?
Back into.
Would you be delighted? No, you wouldn't.
Very argumentative, and it's far less.
That's a crime, isn't it?
It's far less interesting than I think you believe it is. You're on police station property,
publicly funded,
which you don't seem to have a request of the police. Do you have a?
I'll tell you what we will do then. Let's disregard for a second. Here's a legitimate request. Here's No, you're presenting.
I think you've come for an
What
argument
constitutes?
because you're
What constitutes?
not content with something that's
What
happened to you with the police.
constitutes authorisation?
Or you have a
I'm asking
general
you now, as a
dislike
member of the
public
public.
services.
I work in a public
I
service.
think that you've got a general dislike of the police.
I work in the public service.
Okay.
Let me
And if
show you
people
this
came to
one.
where you worked-
Pardon?
If people came to where you worked to start arguments with a hostility towards what you do,
They'd be allowed to film,
I
and I'd
think
have to identify myself.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this, shall we?
Within a police station.
Yeah, publicly funded. So this, no authorised access. Can you clarify for me?
No unauthorised access.
Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that
Said
one.
no authorised
What
access,
it
that
did?
wouldn't make
What
any sense.
constitutes authorised access?
When you're given permission to be here,
From whom?
or you have a legitimate purpose to be here.
But who would I
There's
seek
an
permission
inquiry
from?
office at the front.
So I go to the inquiry
which is
office
where
on
the
Monday.
Where the public are asked to go to.
Fine, that's fine. We'll deal with that on
The
Monday.
bottom line is, what are you trying to achieve right now?
You mentioned two forms. What other personal
No,
business?
what do you want from this interaction?
Still repeat my question. Well, firstly, identify yourself as you're
The reason I'm
obligated
not
to
going
do. The reason
is
you're not
because
going to because you're
here
acting.
with an axe to grind, and you don't like
Speculation,
people
overruled.
here for
Speculation,
public-
overruled.
Give you public service.
See how this will pan out in court? Speculation,
This
overruled.
won't end up in court.
No, it won't, because your side will settle before it goes there.
Sir,
Time,
do you have a
time
do you
and
have a
distance.
request of the police?
Yeah, identify yourself.
The reason I'm not going to
Who's your
is
senior
'cause
officer?
it's not relevant.
Who's your senior officer?
It's on our website. You
Right,
can look it up, and I have no
and
doubt
I want to
you
make a
have.
formal complaint about your lack of
Then
identification.
you're
I'll take
also-
it. I'll
you're
take it to the
also-
relevant
but
body.
I'm not in public.
I beg. You're on duty.
I'm always on duty.
Exactly, and you have to identify
So,
whether you're
no,
in plain clothes
I'm
or not.
in a public place.
Yes, you are.
I'm not dealing with the public.
Remember, this
you
is-
are on private property. So what
This
I'm not going
debate
to
we're
do is
taken
give
up
you
by
a name
solicitors.
to put onto the internet for your angry website where you don't like public
Angry
services.
website. Classic. This
You
geezer, isn't he?
you don't seem to have any questions. What do you want
I
from
have.
this interaction?
Who am I speaking with?
What's your purpose? What do
Who
you
am I
want to get out
speaking
of
with?
this?
That's the question.
And what do you want to do with that information?
I could say that to you when you asked for my ID, couldn't I?
I'm not asking for your ID.
No, you're not that
Because
dumb,
I've
are
got
you?
no basis to ask
No,
for
you
your
haven't,
ID.
but I have genuine basis to ask for yours.
what's
you
that?
you made contact with me.
You're
now
you're
obligated
behind-
under
you're
two
behind a
rationales.
sign that says
Two
no
rationales. Your
unauthorised
code of ethics,
access.
your code of ethics, and your policies.
Please
you're on
tell me
duty.
about the code of ethics.
I think it's the other way around. You need to adhere
Well, you're
to.
giving
Look at
me
your
all the
senior.
facts.
Look at the ranking
You're
here.
giving me
Look
all
at the
the
rank.
facts. What would you like
Look
to
at the rank.
What would you like
And
to
this is
talk
how
about?
you
What would
behave.
you like to achieve?
They always say shit travels downwards, don't they? Eh?
Well, what would you like to achieve?
Eh? Seriously?
I don't understand what you want from this.
I would like to
It
achieve
appears-
your identification.
It appears that you don't like the police
How do you know that?
because of the way you're behaving and everything that you're doing.
You're not the police, you're a policeman. And of senior rank as well.
But you haven't come here to talk to me.
You don't know.
Anyone could have walked out that
When you
door.
see the narration
I've
at the
chosen
start
to
of this
walk
video,
out the
when you
door.
search for it and you see it,
Because I'd like to know
you'll
why
see
you're
how
here.
ridiculous that comment's
Because
been
it's
made.
It's a sensitive site.
Sensitive. Put some soothing lotion on it then if it's sensitive.
So you're funny as well as interesting.
Brilliant, aren't
Every
I?
one of your viewers will find this fascinating.
I'm
but
sure
you
they will.
don't seem
But
to
I
have come
can't, I
here
can't
with a
make,
request.
I can't think for other people.
You don't
I
seem
give
to have
adults the
come here with a
courtesy of being
request.
able to think for themselves, unlike the generalisations and the
It's a
facile
very,
nonsense
you're
you
a very
come up with.
angry man, and I hope
That's a
you find
crime,
some
is it?
resolution.
Thank you very much.
Please don't walk towards my staff because, unlike me,
Your
they're
staff?
not used to people who dislike the police wandering around.
They authorised?
Statements.
They authorised?
I'd like to ask if they are. Hello, hi. Do you have some identification? You do. If you could wear it when you walk around, that would be very useful.
This is a
don't
conversation
need
you're
to
having from a man who
because-
refuses to identify, so just take note of the hypocrisy from a senior member of your staff.
If you have no reason to be here, then I'll ask
Just
you.
see
I'll
the
ask
rank
you to
hypocrisy of
leave,
your comment then.
because I'm going to challenge them if they don't have a reason to be here.
Yeah, you reply one rule to them and not to yourself. Is that the bonus of going up
I'm
the
aware
ladder, is
that
it?
I work here,
Is that the bonus of
so I'm
going
not
up the
going to
ladder?
ask
eh?
myself for ID.
You can meddle
You're
about with the
asking me
rules.
for ID for a reason
You can
that
meddle
isn't
about with the
relevant.
rules when it suits.
You want my
do you do that
name
with
to
evidence?
put it onto the internet.
Do you do that with evidence?
For your video.
Do you do that with
which
evidence?
Portrays your angry
Do you do that
perspective
with evidence?
and dislike for the police.
That's a.
I don't know why you dislike the
I'll
police.
tell you what that is. That could be
You're
construed as slander.
Well, my observations, my personal opinion.
Whilst on duty, you're not here to enforce personal opinions. You're here to enforce the law.
You
Thank you
seem
very
to
much
be-
for saying that on
you
camera.
seem to
Thank
be
you.
rather
Thank
angry.
you. Thank
Please
you.
don't
Thank
walk
you.
towards
Thank you.
where people are working.
And what happens if I do? Sorry, let me rephrase. What happens exactly when I do?
You're well aware that it's
Doing as we speak.
it's a complicated practice, isn't it? It's not a clear principle. But the bottom line is,
Then you'd have to be
you're here
certain of that to make a
you're
judicious
here
judgment
to be
call.
angry.
You'd have to.
And you're here to intimidate
by your own definition,
people.
You're saying
you're here to intimidate people.
That's an allegation again, unsubstantiated.
You're here with
speculation.
Your angry, orating, hat-wearing, standing with a camera, attempting to grind an axe. I don't really understand what you'd like to achieve.
Overruled. Speculative, overruled.
Overruled?
Yep. Wouldn't be admitted.
Sir,
it's not admissible.
You're on private property.
Why aren't you wearing your body worn? Why aren't you wearing your body worn?
I don't work in public. I don't work facing the public. I work within a building, and that's the reason why I'm also not giving you my name, and I'm not giving you my shoulder number.
It's public
I've come out
anyway.
Here because you're trespassing on a police station.
That's an accusation.
Which you know you are.
I'm not.
Because
for the record, I refuse I resent the accusation.
No public access beyond this point. You know
no, it didn't.
Well
it said no unauthorised access.
You know full well why we have that. Because of the dangers that police officers face.
Here we go.
And because of the hostilities from people ranging from casual, camera-wielding, angry people who don't like society and have a problem with public services.
I work in public
service.
Through to violent
acts.
This is brilliant.
Through to violent acts.
Am I committing a violent act?
No, that's
Am
why
I
I said
intimidating
through.
you?
So that range.
Am I intimidating you?
I believe that your intent is to come here to get some good footage.
Speculative.
For your YouTube channel.
Speculative.
For your viewers.
Speculative.
So that they can see how impressed they are with the fact that you're willing to walk around and try and...
Speculative.
Try and intimidate various
people.
You
read the opening lines on my channel. You read the opening lines on my channel and you'll get it.
To the people that enjoy watching your channel.
And I'll just zoom in.
You don't have a reason to be here.
I do right now.
You don't have permission to film. And this isn't half as interesting as you think it is.
No.
If you'd like to be famous, I suggest you come up with some content that has a purpose, or ask a question that you think you might get an answer to.
There's a wonderful old adage, when an idiot's speaking, don't interrupt him.
Ask about something that you think I might be able to answer, instead of choosing to ask me questions. I've told you
your identity. Do you realise at this moment? Do you realise at this moment in time? Do you realise at this moment in time, Wayne Cousins is higher up in the pecking order than you? At least he identified. You haven't.
You're angry.
You're less than Wayne Cousins.
Like this, citing.
You're less than Wayne Cousins.
Bits of information.
Less than Wayne Cousins. He identified.
Now, if a police officer is on duty in public, I'd expect them to identify themselves. I've had to come
on duty's the key.
Because you've brought your angry rhetoric against public
on
service.
Duty's the key.
These are people who work here.
On duty's the key.
These are people who work here. Now, I'm in a building, I've come out to talk to you. What I'm not going to do is feed your YouTube channel to your viewer so that they can get excited about what they want to see about your angry hatred of public services. I've made it really clear. You've passed the sign that says no unauthorised access, and you've done it to try and find an interesting conversation with somebody, so somebody will watch your face and know your name. It's not as interesting as you think it's going to be, and it doesn't serve any purpose. And I've asked you several times, do you have a request for the police?
Yes, can you identify yourself as witness? The request is identified by officers.
These officers may identify themselves because they're on duty. They're in uniform.
You're in uniform.
No, you've come to my office.
So
I
what?
don't face the public.
You are now.
I work in an area that none of the public have access.
You're facing a member of the public right now.
So, as you're angry, you might be able to just type out what you're angry about so that people can choose to read it rather than invading people's private space.
Your authority. You're abusing your authority, sir.
All I've done is ask you to leave.
You're abusing your authority.
I have no authority to throw you out.
No.
Which is why I'm politely declined your request of a very uninteresting video, which you'll find that I've now probably been speaking non-stop for close to 10 minutes.
It's hilarious.
And I hope your viewers are as thrilled by this as I am. You've come past the no entry point to ask irrelevant questions because you're an angry man.
The no entry point is for vehicles.
And there are plenty of people out there like you, and I get bored of talking to them because there's so many. And what they do is
committing slander on
they
record.
don't
just
contribute to society. But what they do is they like to go and argue with people who are. So why don't you take it to a public side?
Is journalism a crime?
This isn't journalism, sir. I recognise journalism. You're a man in a hat on private premises with a camera from 1995.
Who painted
if you'd
these?
Like to follow these officers, they'll talk to you.
Let me take you back to what you said about you have no right to remove me.
No, I said that I'm not going to.
You have no right to.
Well, let's talk about it.
You've argued
In
trespass.
a public place.
Trespass is a civil matter.
It is.
If it's aggravated trespass, you're more than welcome.
You're standing in front of a building.
Said building.
Which you don't have a right to stand in front
Standing.
of. And the moment you start intimidating staff coming in and out of the main exit.
I'm not intimidating anybody. That's a false accusation. You're making a false accusation on record.
An aggravated trespass.
You're making a false accusation.
You're standing in front of the double security door
false
to some
accusation.
Infrastructure which carries a risk and a
false
threat.
Reporting is a crime under the 1967 Criminal Act. You do realise that, don't you?
Intimidated by your presence, then you'll find yourself liable to be dealt with under aggravated trespass, which is a criminal intent. So I'm going to leave you with the officers who are on duty.
For final time, you're going to
intimidate my staff with your angry rhetoric, which we've heard so many times.
Then learn the lessons.
It's called conspiracy theorists. And people are very enthusiastic.
Are you going to
about
identify
it.
yourself, sir?
No, sir.
Right, you hope.
Because I'm not.
That's 4 times on record.
And I'm not on duty.
But you're covering your ID.
I am, because
you're covering your ID.
Because I don't want you.
You're covering your
spin
ID.
Whatever you want to on your YouTube channel.
And look at those designation diamonds for your rank.
They're going to be really
Is this how you lead?
I'm going to ask you to speak to the officers who are on duty now.
I can decline that request.
And what I'll do is I'll leave you in their capable hands, but if you stand out the front of this building, then you may be committing an aggravated trespass, because through harassment and...
Who's the injured party?
If you let me finish.
Who's the injured party?
If you let me finish.
Who's the injured party?
I will answer that question with words.
Member of staff.
If you'll
They're on duty. They cannot be harassed, alarmed and distressed.
If you let me...
We've played bingo before.
If you let me finish, then I'll explain. These are staff who work here. They're not police officers. If you stand out the front,
on duty.
If you stand out the front, intimidating them to prevent them doing their lawful activity, coming to work, then you'll find yourself liable.
Have I committed that offence?
You'll find yourself
Am I suspected of committing that offence?
You'll find yourself liable to aggravated
up and up, isn't it?
I will wager you've never filed a lawsuit in anyone. I will wager.
And that's on record, folks.
I'll leave you with these officers.
Please don't
go and enjoy your YouTube channel. I hope your viewer likes watching it. Please leave the premises.
Would you like to identify yourself?
No, sir.
And that's his final word.
Sir, good afternoon, you right?
Afternoon.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, for the purposes of a consensual conversation, could you identify yourself,
yes,
please, sir?
I'm Sergeant 1851 Flynn, the Duty Sergeant for Devices.
3 out of 3, thank you.
And I'm PC Laura Bellis, shoulder number is 70184.
Based here?
Devices.
Thank you. Well,
so we're in the local response team, basically.
You got the gist of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just need to take the call, sorry. Go ahead.
Who called you?
Who called us? So control room do task us out, yeah.
Okay.
I notice you're Liverpudlian.
Twang?
Yes, slight twang.
Yeah, slight's a good...
I'm from Wigan originally. So
the old Paita,
can't tell, yes, yeah, can't tell my accent either.
I can.
12 years in Australia and then a bit of London as well. So.
Right, okay. Well, look, you chaps have been perfectly reasonable. I think you got the gist of that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think my work is done here.
Okay.
However, have you got your body worns on at all?
Yeah.
Guys, you should be telling me that. You know that.
Okay. My body worn is on. It was on when we got here.
1344. Anything before 1344 is not admissible in evidence for the record.
Okay.
Thank you. I lost my train of thought. Oh, what you did witness, and I will be calling up both the body worn and where I have you on camera witnessing a rather senior officer refusing to identify. You will be called as witnesses in that complaint.
I did see him do that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good. Thank you for your approach.
No worries.
Thank you very much, Mum. That's good. Oh, I'm sweaty. Sir?
We're all sweaty today, yeah.
I quite like watching the auditors, to be fair.
Well, listen, this is...
I've not seen you on YouTube, though.
I haven't been on for a year.
AB.
Oh, God, yeah, like
AB. Are you local, like Wiltshire? Because obviously Liverpudlian accent.
Please don't fish. No fishing allowed. You need a permit and you're not warranted to do that at the moment. No, chaps, look, you get the basic premise of auditors, and there's a spectrum of people who do this. Even when you do see this, there's a tagline, right? Latin bit of script. You'll understand the legitimacy of my purpose when you read that.
Right.
Okay? Unlike a rather uninspiring senior. Now, I know you guys are not and shouldn't publicly reprimand a senior officer. However, you both know exactly the infraction he's committed. It's not a criminal offence, it's a breach of policy, and it will be dealt with internally through the channels we know. It doesn't sit well on his reputation, particularly when he had the audacity to ask other people to identify on camera. That's not going to look good, is it? It's not a good look. But you two have been absolutely superb, thank you very much.
Can I ask what the Latin is and what's the Latin?
Oh, the quote?
Yes.
Quis custodiet ipsos custodis. Blank look.
I have to play that back. It'll get
Play
up.
that back, yeah.
Depends if you read Juvenal or not, but some of us, you know.
I didn't study Latin in school.
I didn't study, I did it myself.
Okay.
I'll paraphrase it for you as soon as you've been courteous with me. Who watches the watchers? Who guards the guardians? Who polices the police? I'll rest my case then. Thank you, chaps. Take it easy.
Thank you, you too.
Just for the record, in terms of my narration to the camera, this is the rationale for our two diamond man. There's the no entry sign, which is clearly a preclusion to vehicles and not members of the public. In no way, shape or form did Devices HQ paint these lines. They're publicly funded, therefore there is implied right of access. On that note, that was a rather outstanding, in the end, audit. I hope you enjoyed it, and you know who will be back very soon. Farewell.